year-old guys are going to attempt to cross the United States on bicycles faster than anyone. So we're going to two-man team in something called the Race Across America, crossing America 3,000 miles in under 6 days. We're calling that project Sub 6. As a test, my partner Lucas and I, we did the first 1,000 miles of this 3,000-mile bike ride. So we rode our bikes from San Diego to Durango, Colorado, basically 1,000 miles. And we're trying to do it as fast as we possibly could, alternating, but we did it in 48 hours, just over 48 hours for 1,000 miles, which puts us still on the world record pace, which we were testing. But with Function Health, what we wanted to do is get my not my baseline, but my trained up, sort of blood panels. We did the full, 26 file blood panel on October 10th. Then I left, did the 1,000-mile bike ride from October 13th to October 14th. And then immediately after that, did the full function blood panel right after that to see what my body's doing in a fatigued state so that we can sort of think, oh, how can we get him recovering faster? And or when we think about an Antarctica project, which is 24 days long, if he's going to have a decline, how do we make that decline slower? So as context for that, be curious. I'm fascinated now to hear from you, sort of comparing that, even though those blood panels are only taken, 5 days apart from each other, 1,000 miles of cycling happened in between those two, and obviously what happened inside my body during that time.
Right. I mean, look, we're not supposed to ride our bike 1,000 miles in 2 days and sleep 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So it's a stress to the body. You're a nutcase for sure. But that's why I love you. If you exercise to a point, it's anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant sort of event. If you over-exercise, it's an inflammation event. It increases oxidative stress in the body and inflammation. And what we saw was a marker that, again, is not often checked on regular blood panels called C-reactive protein. It's just a cytokine. You've heard about it with COVID, cytokines. Now, it wasn't to super high dangerous levels, like if you got an infection or sepsis, but it was concerning to me, and it indicated that his body was in an inflammatory state. And so I was like, okay, well, we have to address this. And now, the other thing that happened, and this was a little surprising to me, was he had an elevated liver function test. So Colin was stressing his body in a way that caused his liver to not be able to handle it and to create some stress or damage to his liver. And so we saw elevated liver enzymes, which in a guy Colin's age is really unusual unless he's an alcoholic or drinker or on some medication. So those two things are not unrelated. And it relates, I think, in part, Colin, and this is the kind of insights we would get from function that you're not going to get anywhere else. It's connecting the dots and understanding the body as a network and a system. The fact that you have this impaired methylation, this impaired ability to regulate glutathione and some of your antioxidant systems and regulate inflammation, puts you at risk for having these problems. So if we can give you a way to boost your glutathione levels, if we can reduce the inflammation with anti-inflammatory compounds, which we'll go through. I think I'm going to kind of an idea of what I'm going to recommend for you that you can put in your food, that you can put in your Colin bar. I think we're going to help mitigate some of this inflammatory response. So I think for those of you who want to join with Colin and do this, I'd encourage you to do it. I think I'm constantly checking my labs and tuning things up, and it's such a wonderful thing to be able to do, because we all can wear these wearable sensors and things and Aura rings. That's great, but we really need to know what's under the hood.